Sarah turned down 3 invitations last Saturday. Not because she was sick. Not because she had plans. She turned them down because she was in the middle of reorganizing her bookshelf by color. She had a candle going that she particularly liked. And there was a specific quiet in her apartment at 4 p.m. on a weekend that she was not willing to trade for a rooftop bar and small talk about someone's recent holiday. And here's the thing. She felt zero guilt about it. Zero. She made herself dinner, finished the bookshelf, watched something she'd been saving, and went to bed genuinely happy. Her friends think she's going through something. She's not. She just knows something about herself that most people spend their entire lives trying to figure out. And we're going to talk about exactly what that is today. Because here's what I want to ask you right now, and actually think about this for a second. When was the last time you were completely alone, completely at home, nothing happening, nothing planned, and felt genuinely good? Not restless, not like you were wasting the day, not reaching for your phone every 4 minutes because the silence felt wrong. Just good. If you answered that easily, you probably already know which side of this you're on. If that question made you slightly uncomfortable, that's interesting too, and we'll get to that. I want to tell you about Marcus. Marcus is the kind of person who, at a party, is perfectly charming. Laughs at the right moments, asks good questions, holds a conversation without effort. From the outside, very social guy. But what nobody at that party knows is that Marcus spent the entire drive there negotiating with himself. And he's already calculating somewhere in the back of his mind the earliest polite moment he can leave. He doesn't hate people. He's just running a different kind of internal budget than most. Every conversation, every crowded room, every hour of being on, it costs him something. And the only place he genuinely recharges is at home. Alone. Usually doing something completely inconsequential, fixing something, reading something, cooking something nobody asked for. He told me once, "I'm not antisocial. I'm just really, really selective about where I spend my energy." And then he went home at 9:15, and I think he was asleep by 10:30 and completely fine about it. So what is actually going on with people like Sarah and Marcus? Because the easy answer, the one most people reach for, is introversion. And sure, that's part of it. But it doesn't explain everything. Because there are introverts who still feel restless at home, who still crave stimulation, just in quieter forms, who still feel the pull of outside. What's different about people who genuinely love home, who treat it like a destination rather than a waiting room, is something more specific. They have built a rich inner world. And that world is genuinely interesting to them. When the room is quiet and there's nothing demanding their attention, they're not bored. They're thinking, noticing, processing, playing out ideas. There's always something running, and that something is entertaining enough that the outside world most days simply cannot compete with it. Here's what I've noticed about these people that I think is genuinely underappreciated. They tend to have extremely good taste in their own company. That sounds like a strange thing to say, but think about it. Most people, when left alone long enough, become slightly unbearable to themselves. The silence gets loud. Thoughts get uncomfortable. The urge to fill the room with something, anything, becomes overwhelming. Home lovers don't experience it that way. They've somehow made peace with their own mind in a way that's actually quite difficult to do. The silence isn't empty to them. It has texture. The evening alone isn't lost time. It's the time they actually wanted. There's a woman I know, I'll call her Claire, who spends most of her weekends alone and describes them the way other people describe vacations. Like something she looks forward to, something she protects. She's not lonely. She's not waiting for her life to start. She's in it, fully, just quietly. Now, I have to say this because it matters. There's a version of loving home that is healthy, grounded, and completely fine. And there's a version that is home as armor, where the door isn't just a boundary between your space and the world, it's a barrier. Where saying no to everything has slowly stopped feeling like a choice and started feeling like the only option. Those two things look almost identical from the outside, but from the inside they feel completely different. One feels like ease, the other feels like relief, which sounds similar but is actually the feeling you get when you've avoided something. If it's ease, you're good, genuinely. Enjoy your Saturday. If it's relief, just worth sitting with. That's all. People who love staying home are not waiting to be fixed. They're not a project. They're not one good night out away from becoming a different person. They're not secretly miserable, and they don't need to be told what they're missing. They've done something quietly impressive. They've figured out what actually makes them feel like themselves. And they've stopped apologizing for it. In a world that genuinely never stops asking you to be somewhere, do something, show up, perform, engage, respond, choosing your own couch on a Friday night with full conviction, honestly, that takes a certain kind of confidence that not everyone has. Sarah's bookshelf looks great, by the way. See you in the next one.